You know the stories as well as I do. All of the plots from various fantasy novels or sci-fi films that have been released that tell the many stories of time travel. The thought of traveling into the distant future or the distant past has often appealed to us, as we strive to know more about mankind and how we managed to survive for as long as we have. What will the world look like in 200 years? What would you say to your younger self if you were to meet? How accurate are some of the most important stories from history? Internet users pounced on this image as showing a woman, using an iPhone, in a painting dating from the 19th century. The expected one is an 1860 painting by Austrian artist Ferdinand Georg Waldmüllerin. It currently resides at the Neue Pinakothek Museum in Munich, Germany. It depicts a distracted young girl walking down a prairie path with a young boy waiting to surprise her with a flower at an upcoming turn. But, the pose and seeming unawareness of what's ahead displayed by the girl seems eerily familiar. It looks like she is looking down at her phone. Gerald Weinpolter, CEO of the art agency Austrian Paintings, told Motherboard, "The girl in this Waldmüller painting is not playing with her new iPhone 10, but is off to church holding a little prayer book in her hands." Retired Glasgow man Peter Russell told Motherboard, "The big change is that in 1850 or 1860, every single viewer would have identified the item that the girl is absorbed in as a hymnal or prayer book. In 2011, a photo from 1941 showing a man dressed in modern fashion emerged on the internet. Many referred to the unknown man, wearing sleek sunglasses, with a cardigan over a sweater and an unkempt hairstyle, as the time-traveling hipster. He looks like a person someone would see today wandering the streets of Manhattan or Los Angeles and stands out among the crowd of time-appropriately dressed people next to him." However, the clothes this fashionable fellow was wearing would make sense for this time. The photograph comes from the Brelorne Pioneer Museum, and captures the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Gold Bridge, British Columbia. The sunglasses the man was wearing are wraparound glasses that first hit markets in the US in the 1920s. His t-shirt also sports the logo of the Montreal Maroons, a professional hockey team that played in the National Hockey League from 1924 to 1938. While his fashion may have been ahead of his time, this man is dressed in clothing that would make sense for 1941. The flip phone at the 1962 World Cup. Brazil triumphed over Czechoslovakia in the 1962 World Cup final, but it is the device that a photographer is holding that made a picture of Captain Mauro Ramos hoisting the trophy infamous. It appears that the person in the media scrum is holding a flip phone, which did not come to the market until 1996 and was not popular until the mid-2000s. Given that flip phones are now largely out of fashion, it suggests that the time traveler might have come from the year 2007 or thereabouts, when the Motorola Razr ruled the world. The fixation with spotting 21st-century tech highlights how silly such time traveler stories really are, Mr. Watson told DailyMail.com. It is likely that this photographer is actually holding a box camera. The time-appropriate device can be controlled with one hand. In this case, it appears to have an attachment fixed atop of it, likely a flashbulb. God, Jesus and a Sputnik satellite. The artwork titled Glorification of the Eucharist by Bonaventura Salimbeni has caught the attention of UFO enthusiasts due to its depiction of what appears to be God and Jesus tinkering with a Sputnik-like satellite. The spherical object in question is a representation of the celestial sphere, which symbolizes the universe. Many paintings containing UFOs were highlighted in a book, as the ancient chronicles relate, by Roberto Voltaire. But art experts dismissed Voltaire's claims. Martin Kemp, professor of art history at Oxford University, says, many artists used their imaginations to represent celestial or sacred powers. Woman, using a cell phone, at Charlie Chaplin premiere. Conspiracy theorists seized on the fact that a woman seems to be using a cell phone in a DVD extra of Charlie Chaplin's film The Circus. The woman was caught on film at the premiere of Chaplin's movie at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. The Circus was filmed in 1928. The clip was unearthed by filmmaker George Clark, and became a hot topic of conversation worldwide. But it was debunked. The woman is holding a hearing aid which just happens to be oblong. Speaking to Live Science, Philip Skroska, an archivist at the Bernard Becker Medical Library of Washington University in St. Louis, said, "As you can tell from these, old-fashioned mechanical or resonating hearing aids were not necessarily long and rounded. Short, compact rectangular forms